And here we are. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Wow. We have tons of people in the house here at the I love that. Yeah, we have tons of people here in the house. And I thank you so much for being with us today on our Mastermind Zoom and also on Instagram and on YouTube. Wow. Okay. Let's see, we have a lot of people joining us today. Today is an interesting topic and an interesting time. Let me make sure that we have one other thing done here that I want to do, and we've got that done. Today is a very interesting topic because all of us would love to have a better life. And our topic for today is Success Mentorship Class number 404. And the topic is really mapping the life you are living right now. And we chose that topic because as we move into the end of this year, we need to step up our game. Last year, this time, many of us were at a particular point where we were saying to ourselves, let me make some adjustments. Let me make some changes. I want next year to be an incredibly successful year. And now here we are a year later. And some of us can pat ourselves on the back and say, wow, we did it. We got it done. And then there are others that say, I've been here before. And so this message today is really a part of a bigger message. We're doing a webinar on December 13th, our last webinar of the year, and it's called New You for the New Year. And one of the reasons I chose to do that webinar at that time was that I wanted to prepare us to go into the new year at the highest level, the highest vibration level. And so in that webinar, we're going to show you how to assess where you are, how to make the life changes, how to set new goals, and then how to lay out an action plan. One, to close this year out real strong, but two, to literally prepare yourself to make next year a year for outrageous success, so that when we have this call next year this time, we're going to have a victory celebration. We're going to have like 50 or 60 people just saying, how sweet it is that this was my year for greatness. This was my year for success. And it really, really happened. So once again, those of you online and watching, go to our website, go to www.successlessons.net. successlessons.net and register for the class. You get more information about it. And I'll tell you this, the first 12 that register today while we're on this program get two things. Number one, they get a discount, because if you put in a discount code New You, all in caps, you'll get a $50 discount. But they also get an 45-minute success consultation with me to talk about what you need to do on a very personal level. So successlessons.net. All right, we've gotten all that out of the way. That's our commercial for the upcoming webinar. And so today, as we get ready for this message, I want us to remember this, that where we are right now is a result of all of the things that we've done in our lives, all of the things that we've done last week and the week before. I was on a journey. I was in a place called Warsaw, North Carolina. And it's a great town, but that was not where I intended to be. And I remember sitting there in the parking lot at the Waffle House, and I was saying to myself, how did I get here? And as I thought back, I remembered I left Myrtle Beach. I should have made a turn on 17 coming north, but I was on my phone. Okay, I missed the turn, so I ended up going a whole different direction. And then when I got to another fork in the road, I was really tired. And I think I looked up and I'm like, man, I missed another turn. And so when I'm sitting there in Warsaw, I'm saying to myself, how did I get here? Well, when I look back, I said, number one, I shouldn't have been on my phone, should have been paying attention. Number two, that night in Myrtle Beach, I had some friends up. We hung out literally till 5 o'clock in the morning. So I really didn't get any sleep. So I was tired. And so this idea of mapping your life is like where you are right now. It's really the culmination of everything that's gone on to this point in life. But where you are right now has an incredible opportunity to make new choices and new changes. And that's what our topic today. So let us do our meditation to get prepared for our journey. Let's sit straight up in our seats. Close our outer eyes. Open our inner eyes. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. And in this space of peace and relaxation, I am at peace with myself. Let us share this affirmation together. I am at peace with myself. Once more. I am at peace with myself. And in this state of peaceful relaxation, my mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let it sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. So it is. All right. We got a lot of people in this morning. Hey, Christine, can I make you co-host today? Yeah, I think Dawn has a speaking engagement. She's rolling. So let me do that because we have a lot of people who are waiting to get on. All right, here we go. Christine, I'll make you co-host. Thank you so much. Whew. I always, when I look at our topic today, this Success Mentorship Class number 404, and that topic is making the life you are living right now, mapping the life you are living right now. That's a powerful topic, folks, because it is really saying that you have the ability to create the direction in your life, but not only direction, the journey and all the steps along the way. I was looking at a quote that really tied in our present situation with our potential for the future. And it said this: your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They only determine where you start. I'm going to say that again. Your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They only determine where you start. Wow. You know, that's a profound hearing. So now you can't hear me. Can everybody hear me? I see a quote that I can't hear.
Yeah, well, we can hear you.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. So another quote that really got my attention, it says this: if the problem you're facing can be solved by action, you don't have a problem. I'll say that again. If the problem you're facing can be solved by action, you don't have a problem. And the interesting thing about that quote is this: that if the challenges you're facing right now can be solved by just you're doing what you already know how to do, you don't have a problem. You're just lazy. So you need to change, get up, and go ahead and do what you have to do to get to the next level. But if action is not sufficient to help you move to the next level, then you need growth. And that's what this entire program, the New You for the New Year, is all about. How must you grow to get where you want to go? I like that. How must I grow to get where I want to go. When we begin this journey, we realize that every destination, every journey requires two things. It requires a location and it requires a destination. And so where we are right now, this thought of mapping out our lifestyle, mapping out our life, mapping out where we are right now, says that wherever we are, we have the power to make a new beginning. So that neutralizes a good bit of the possibility of say, well, hey, the prodigal son, that I'm in the pig pen of life, but I don't have to stay there. And so in our lives, we may be stuck in a situation where things are not going the way we want them to go. But the beautiful thing is the moment you make a shift, the moment you make certain changes, now you can rewrite the ending. You can't rewrite the past, but you can make a new start and rewrite the ending. You can always make a new beginning. But when you make a new beginning, it's important that you understand that the chapter that you're currently in. Don't start rewriting without knowing the chapter that you're in. You know, it's like putting on a new suit. A new suit gives you a whole new impression, a whole new vibration. People will relate to you differently. But putting on a new suit without taking a shower, without taking a bath. So you're putting a new suit on a dirty body. And so this idea of mapping where we are right now is what do we have to do to look at the body that is us to prepare us for the next level, to give us the best opportunity to be, do, and have all that we desire. Once we see where we are right now, then we can understand and learn what we have to do on the journey to get to where we want to go. Once we understand where we are, then we know what we have to do to go where we want to go. So what are the keys to this process of mapping where you are right now so that you'll be prepared to make the next steps on your journey? Well, 4 keys. Number 1, understand the power of honest inventory. Every business, at the end of the year, every business does an inventory. And, you know, many governments tax what you have in your inventory. They do an inventory at the end of the year, and then they start the new year with a new inventory. So when we want to make the changes in our lives to create the new life that we desire, we need to make inventory. You cannot change what you do not confront. You cannot fix what you do not face. And so this idea of acknowledging now that it's important to take stock of where we are is critical. Because if we don't do that, then we can never get our bodies in the proper consciousness to put on the new suit, the new thoughts, the new relationships that we have coming our way. And so the idea, one of the reasons that we use the 12 universal laws of success so much in our training is that the first law of success is the law of thought. And so when we look at this idea where we are right now, the question is, if we don't examine our thoughts are the blueprint for our life. So if we don't examine our thoughts, our beliefs, our habits, our patterns, then we won't be able to build a structure that can take us where we want to go. They say we are building a house on sinking sand. Scripturally, we'll put it like that. So it's critical that we go through this process of mapping the life we have right now. How did we get to where we are right now so that we are prepared to then make the changes, to then set new goals, and then to lay out a plan, a step-by-step plan to create the life we desire. You know, as a pilot taking off on a flight, I love to see the pilots that get there in the cockpit. And what you see them do is they're checking all the dials. They'll check their instruments. They'll make sure that the altimeter is working. They check the fuel. All of the things that they do are necessary to ensure a safe journey. I was on a plane once and it was on the runway and they came back and they said, we have to take some baggage off. We're overweight limit. Another one, they came back and they said they had to reorganize the baggage. It was, whatever it was, it had the plane not in a safe position. And so where we are right now, we have to basically do the same thing. We are the pilot of our lives. As the poem says, we are the captain of our ship and the master of our destiny. And so we have to make this self-assessment. We have to look in the mirror and see who we are. So this idea of a reality checkpoint is checking your dashboard. And it says to you right now to assess what is working. What's working for you? When I looked at that journey to that I ended up in Warsaw, well, I actually got there. So that was working. But then what's not working? I should have been more on case if I had paid attention and stayed off the phone, then I would have gotten to my true destination. I wouldn't be in Warsaw. Okay. If I had gotten more sleep the night before, I wouldn't have been tired. So this idea of mapping out is where you look at the cause and effect of the things that impact you on your journey. What needs adjusting? What needs eliminating? What needs expanding? What do you need to do more of? What do you need to do less of? What do you need to stop doing? You know, when you start laying this out, and I recommend that you get a pad and you start writing these things down, they will reveal something about yourself that will absolutely blow your mind. So this idea, this honesty is not about self-criticism. Don't beat yourself up. It's about self-clarity. If you're not clear about where you're going, you can't give yourself the energy, the power to get there. I've seen many companies over the years. I was listening to a talk, and when companies get stuck, so how does a company get stuck? They're making money. When companies get stuck is when they don't have clarity about their goals. They don't have clarity about what they're trying to do. They don't have clarity about their market, or clarity about their process, or clarity about their why. And so this thought of now recognize the power of self-assessment says, when I have clarity about where I'm at, then I have power to get where I want to go. Second key is what I like to call mapping the present, the 5 life zones. To look at the 5 life zones now and let them indicate and show you why you're where you are and how you can get to the next point. I like to call these 5 key areas life zones, and they're like coordinates on a map. You know, one of the interesting things when you're in Utah, I was out in Salt Lake City, and I needed to, my son had called me and said, Dad, I need some money, and I needed to find a Western Union. So I call information, I get, anyway, when they gave me the address, I didn't understand it. It was not like 16 John Street. It was in coordinates. And see, coordinates like longitude and latitude, coordinates give you a definite, true positioning of where you are. Well, this idea, this process of mapping your life is that give you the coordinates of where you are so that you can do what you need to do to get where you want to go. First zone is your mindset. What beliefs dominate your thinking? Are you thinking lack and limitation? Are you operating from possibility or limitation? Are you operating from expansion or fear? Your mindset is the lens through which you see your life. It is, if this lens is distorted, then nothing looks right. So if you look at, the simplistic example we always give is the glass half full or half empty. Completely different outcomes. If it's half empty, then your mindset is based on soon it's going to all be gone. So now let me operate from a point of lack. If you look at it and say it's half full, you're going to soon it's going to be full. And you operate from a point of view of opportunity and growth. So your mindset is the first one, to look at your thoughts, the thoughts that dominate your life, and are these thoughts good for you? The second zone is your habits and your behaviors. You see, your habits and behaviors really are the determining factor. You can have great thoughts, but bad habits. You can have incredible visions, but be lazy. Your daily actions actually forecast your destiny. Your daily actions forecast the results that you get in your life. And so if you're not taking daily actions that are focused on results producing activities, income producing activities, life altering activities, then what you get may not be that pleasant. One of the interesting things about your actions, you start asking yourself, what am I consistently doing? What am I avoiding? Here's a biggie. What am I tolerating? Woo-hoo. What am I tolerating? Many times it's not so much what you do, it's what you permit other people to do to you, around you. You see, habits don't lie. You know, a habit is like a scale. You ever talk to a person who, I had a good friend that was an alcoholic, and he used to always say, he said, man, one drink will never hurt. You know, I can handle it. I got it under control. And invariably the next day when he's like socked out drunk, he says, he forgives himself. He said, well, that was just, I was depressed. But we often say, liars may figure, but figures don't lie. And so when you get on the scale, I've been on a journey with weight loss, and a week or so ago, I fell off the wagon. How did I know I fell off the wagon? I got on the scale. And I think, oh, I gained 3 pounds. Well, what did it do? It made me get back on the wagon, let me get back up and start walking again. I got sidetracked, good reasons, but I still wasn't doing what I needed to do to achieve my goals. So your daily actions, look at them, evaluate them. Zone 3, your environment. Who and what surrounds you? Your environment can either elevate you or it can drain you. If you have the wrong people around you, in Star Trek, whenever there's a threat, you'll say, Scotty, put up the shields. But you know what happens when they put up the shields? You know how the lights would dim because the shields require energy. If your environment is not congruent with where you want to be in your life, you have to put up shields to protect yourself from other people's negativity. But those shields drain your energy. You may be spending 80% of your energy just protecting yourself from your environment. Sometimes the biggest transformation comes not from what you do, but from what you stop allowing. Whew. So your environment now is critical. Sometimes you're going to have to move. If you stay in a place where you have to constantly expend psychic and emotional energy to protect yourself and to keep yourself on track, that's a profound sound that you need to move. Zone 4, results. Results are the most honest feedback on your efforts. If you're not getting the results that you desire, you can either make excuses or you make progress. You can't make them both. Results let you know the effectiveness of your activities. If your results do not match your vision, then something in your thinking, something in your habits, something in your environment is out of alignment. We always talk about income producing activities, results producing activities, but results are the scales on which you stand to see the truth of your weight. Results are the scales on which you stand to see the effectiveness of your action. The 5th zone is the emotional zone. And this is a powerful zone because Your emotions are the source of your desire. Your emotions really represent your internal GPS system. How you feel about yourself, how you feel about others determines the results you get in your life. Maya Angelou said, people may not remember what you said, they may not remember what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. So your emotions are profound. Your fear of failure, fear of success, signifies misalignment. That whatever your goals are, whatever your vision is, if you're fearful, you're not aligned with them. You will not achieve them. Wherein peace signals direction. You notice when we do our meditation, I am at peace with myself. Because it's in the peace that you create for yourself that the direction that you're supposed to be going begins to become clear to you. And joy signals flow. When you are happy, when you're smiling, when everything is going right, you get into the rhythm of success. You get into the harmonic of success. They say everything you touch turns to gold. Everything works. Wow. So the true life map is not just about the physical landscape. It's about your emotional terrain as well. Because in the boat that is your life, it is your emotions that provide the drive, the desire to get where you want to go. I had a friend once that he said, man, I'm burned out, Herb. I said, well, he said, man, I just don't feel I have any zing to me. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just burned out. I'm tired. And when he did his emotional checkup, when we went through the 5 zones, it turned out he wasn't burned out. He was just bored. He'd stayed in that position too long. It no longer challenged him. One of the single realizations is that for him was that saved him years of frustration. And so I challenge each and every one of you today. What have you outgrown? What relationships have you outgrown? What environment have you outgrown? What emotions have you outgrown? The third step is understanding the gap. And the gap is the distance between where you are and where you want to be. The gap is that journey that you see. Here I am, and this is where I want to be. Understanding that gap should not frustrate you. When we set goals, especially when we set big goals, and we don't accomplish them in the way we thought we would, we can get frustrated. We can get discouraged. So when we look at the difference between where you are and where you want to be, don't let it be a frustration. Don't let it be a discouragement, but let it be a source of power. Let it be something inside that says, I can do this. I can do this. I just got to get better. I got to have more positive thoughts. I got to have a deeper level of desire. I got to step up my habits. I got to do everything I do and think must be congruent with my vision. If I can do that, then nothing is impossible. And so when you look at this distance between where you are and where you want to be, what it gives you is an opportunity for growth. The question is, when a situation is confronting you, what good lesson can I get from this? What growth must I experience to overcome this particular challenge? That gap gives you the lessons of life that you have to learn. You may have to learn the lesson of how to refocus. You may have to learn the lesson of how to overcome procrastination. That gap gives you an opportunity to change your mindset from obstacle to opportunity. When you look at it, your dream should be so big that it scares you. Like, man. But it also should motivate you. Wow, when I achieve it, not if. When I achieve it, my life is going to be incredible. My promised land will manifest right in my experience of life. The gap also helps you find your calling. It's something about meeting challenges that brings out something inside you that helps reveal to you who you really are, what you're about, and why you're here. So acknowledge the gap, but let it motivate you. Let it uplift you. When you start analyzing that gap, some of the questions that you may want to ask yourself: what am I pretending to not know? I loved when I studied with Tony Robbins. He used to have a format. When a person got to a situation, they say, well, I don't know what to do, Herb. And the question, Tony would say, well, if you did know what to do, what would you do? And it's amazing how that mental shift would have people doing stuff that they didn't think they could do, but they already knew it. They just were hiding it. They were pretending not to know. What responsibilities have you avoided? We can be so focused on what we have, what we want to do, that we forget some of the responsibilities in life, responsibilities that help us grow. When you take responsibility as a caretaker, it really helps you grow and learn how what you might say, unconditional love. It makes you grow and learn how to really care about somebody. This is a biggie that's going to get you. What gifts have I neglected? What gifts have I neglected? Every one of us has a gift, as a talent. The Creator gave us a talent. What gifts have I neglected? Any gift that you neglect, it might be taken away. And then finally, what dreams have I postponed? When you start asking those questions, you keep putting it off until one day it's simply too late. So the fourth key to this idea of mapping your life is that now that you know where you want to go, now that you know your present situation, this is where I am, this is where I need to go, where I desire to go. Stop fighting the present and start creating the future. Stop complaining about what you don't have, be grateful for it, and use what you have to get what you want. This last step sometimes is about not just addition, but it may be about subtraction. Subtracting outdated beliefs. Subtracting all the things you thought you could not do. Subtracting toxic relationships. All that's baggage that will keep you from flying. Subtracting excuses. Subtracting procrastination. And subtracting those stories you tell yourself about what you can and cannot do. That once you remove these distractions, the denial, the clutter, then you're ready to roll. Nothing is impossible. So let us just summarize. I know we went a couple of minutes over, but we're at the end of the year, and it's critical that we get there with all the tools we need. So number one, the power of honest inventory. To really see the value of assessing honestly where you are and what it can do to take you where you want to go. To map out your presence by analyzing those 5 life zones, to look at your mindset, to look at your habits and your behaviors, to look at your environment, is it congruent to where you want to go, to look at the results that you're actually getting, to look at your emotional state, the source of your desire. To understand the gap, that distance from where you are to where you want to be, and realize that you can do it. That once you understand the gap and you see it, now the journey is clear. All you have to do is take the steps. And then reframe your story. This is who I am, this is what I have, and this is who I will become. And then take actions. The beginning is staring you right in the face. All you have to do is take actions, take that first step, and get it done. When you can do that, you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is. Just take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Thank you so much for being with us. Those on Instagram, those on YouTube, the lesson today is for you. I, of course, invite you all to get more information about the New You for the New Year webinar on December 13th. Go to our website, www.successlessons.net. And the first 12 of you who do that today get a 45-minute success consultation from me. So let's get started. Let's get it done. Thank you so much for being with us on YouTube, on Instagram. Those on our Zoom, hang on for our discussion.